Hi there, and welcome to the Marketing SOS Show. My name is Eric E. I am your host, and I am more than your host. I am your marketing coach. Any questions you have, I'm here to answer them, just like Mike wrote in this week. And, Mike has fallen out of touch with some contacts on his email list and is looking for a way to re-engage. Now, unfortunately, unlike, losing touch with a friend or loved one, or even a distant acquaintance, when it comes to promotional emailing, you can't just contact them out of the blue. You need their permission to do so. So that's what we're going to tackle with Mike's question on this week's episode of the show, right after this break. So Mike writes, "Hi Eric. How do I reboot email marketing with possibly cold contacts?" Eric note, Mike put possibly in quotations. "My clients have a large-ish 25,000 contact email list. I had planned on booting up a monthly segmented newsletter. One trial email produced great results. Only about 5,000 of the list via Outlook. The problem is that I found out today during a discussion many of these contacts are quote-unquote old or may have not explicitly opted in, end quote. Some contacts are also from lists that originated with the brands we represent, who have given us permission to use, but not necessarily the contact's permission. So third-party light? What is the best way to tackle this and avoid the dreaded spam list? I'm figuring an opt-in email, but I don't want the very first email I send containing the opt-in to trip the system either. Thoughts? Thanks in advance." Well, Mike, this is a tough situation, and there's a few ways you can play it. First, the lists from the brands that you represent. If you are sending it on their behalf and from them under their details, as long as their list is opted in, you should be good to go. The gold standard would be on their opt-in page or their communication policy, they mention something about third parties contacting them or contacting the customer on their behalf. So double check for that. Now they have opted in to receive communications from that brand, and you are facilitating communication on behalf of the brand. It's their list, it's not yours, and it is ultimately their email communications. Ensure you send it under their name and get whatever sign-offs and approvals from your legal team and their legal team that you need to. If you are using the list from these brands to communicate on behalf of other brands or companies, that is a definite no-go. Those lists are not yours to use, and it could land you in serious trouble, especially if anyone on those lists are in Europe. Now, the right way to tackle this could potentially be an opt-in email to get people to confirm their opt-in, depending on when they originally signed up. But if they signed up years and years ago, you may not even be in the window to send that first opt-in email. You can try it, but I never told you to do so. I'm not officially recommending that. Now, there are creative ways you can try to entice people to do the opt-in email, but I will leave that to you. Good luck with that. Just sending one email opt-in email shouldn't land you on the spam list, especially if you're using a third-party email provider. You mentioned that you did a test, an email marketing test, 5,000 people using Outlook. That sounds crazy to manage and scale. You should really look into using a third-party host. Like when you say Outlook, I'm assuming you mean like the Outlook desktop app or even the Outlook.com web app. That seems crazy. That's not scalable. If everyone replied to that, you're going to be getting that many responses in your inbox. And even just trying to send it, you're using your company's servers to send it. You should get a third-party email provider. Use something like Constant Contact, MailChimp, or another provider. There's a ton of go-ins out there, but use servers and companies built for sending emails, my friend. Now, one thing I want to talk to you about for email marketing is, these old lists, these big lists. Ideally, you treat your email marketing list like a garden. Every so often, you have to prune it. Some of those old email addresses might be very old and useless. So if there are no opens or actions for a while, you may as well just take them off. They're going to be ruining your click-through and open rates. So really check out some of these emails. If they're not opening, they're not engaging, they don't care about your content, take them off your list. So Mike, it sounds to me that you have an uphill battle on your hands while re-engaging some of these email subscribers. But at the same time, it can be a great challenge. And now you get the opportunity to rebuild the list from scratch and do it properly. So Mike, thank you so much for writing in, and it's a real problem that you're facing that I think a lot of organizations are facing, and there's a lot of old email lists, a lot of old emails floating around out there, and if you haven't been talking to them and they're not properly opted in, and you've missed the window to opt them in with those opt-in campaigns, the train has left the station. It's time to rebuild things from scratch, most likely. For anyone else out there listening that might be in a similar situation, you may have this huge list of 25,000 people, and you look at like an asset, which it is, but if you haven't been mobilizing that asset, it may say 25,000, but it has slowly been degrading in value since you haven't taken any action to monetize it. Now, while it may be painful, it may be time to say goodbye to those and build them back up. Now, there are other options. There are other ways to engage. Maybe you try to target that list with Facebook ads or something like that to get them to opt in, but you cannot just send them email communications out of the blue. So Mike, thank you so much for the question. I love email marketing. And if anyone else out there in the lovely land of internet audiences has an email marketing question or any kind of marketing question for that matter, email me at eric@marketingsos.ca. I am happy to answer it. And to everyone else out there listening, thank you so much. I appreciate your time, and I look forward to chatting with you in the next episode of the show. Sayonara.